Hello friends! This week I'm doing a bit more practical magic, and it's going to be making a necklace charm. In this case, taking this beautiful piece that I was given as a gift and turning it into a protective charm for when I'm out and about. If you're interested and have enjoyed my videos thus far, please give me a like, follow, subscribe, all the YouTube things, and I'm sure I said some of those wrong, but we're going to get right into it. So what exactly am I making my pendant? First is the actual gift itself of the Kitsune pendant. Kitsune are fox spirits, predominantly found, at least called as Kitsune from Japan, although there is another variant called the Gumaho from Korea. And while they are remarkably similar, there are cultural differences between the two. I'm talking about Kitsune today, not Gumaho. As a Kitsune, Kitsune are forest spirits that are often kind of on the tricksy side, often protectors of sacred spaces, provided they have a shrine. If they don't have a shrine, then they can be a bit more problematic. I'm going to read a little excerpt out of my Encyclopedia of Spirits, which says, "Fox spirits, seductive, sneaky, and often treacherous, are staples of modern manga, anime, and other forms of entertainment. Once upon a time, fox spirits were considered protectors, teachers, providers, and sponsors of the occult and alchemical arts. Even now, some fox spirits are saintly and helpful." So that is mostly the Japanese origin. So what am I pairing with it to make sure that it stays helpful? To do that, we're actually going to move to my workspace and change views so that you can see what I'm working on. Alright, so I know this is not the best perspective, but it's the best I can do in this situation because I only have a little tripod. I don't have like a top-down, I don't know what to call it at the moment. Frame, I guess? So, what am I pairing with my Kitsune pendant? First, I have a few pieces of seraphinite. So seraphinite I'm including because, as the name implies, it is associated with the seraphim, angels. It is a variety of clinochlore, which I am probably butchering because it is a scientific word, and is found in Siberia predominantly. According to my resources, it says only in Siberia, but I would need to verify that. And in addition to being associated with angels, mostly because it has a kind of feathery appearance as the light catches it, it's also associated with communion with the feminine divine and also with nature spirits. So by pairing a nature spirit with a stone that is believed and thought to assist with that, that will help foster proper communication between myself and my pendant. Additionally, I have a variety of tear-shaped stones, tears or droplets. This shape is reminiscent of water, so that brings in some of the water attribute. And also, they are mostly a mixture of light and dark. And some of them have a few more greens and earth tones that match more with the seraphinite and the earthy element of a forest spirit. So with all of those together, I'm also going to be using these little silver spacers because the silver matches all of this, and I have some chain to finish off the necklace with. And I have lobster claws somewhere. I think they're in here. I have yet to finish organizing all of my crafting space, unfortunately, so I'm at my kitchen table and not everything ended up... this has it. not everything ended up in the most organized way possible. Oh, come on. There we go. Helps if you try to open it the right direction. That one's more of a gunmetal color. Oh, I still have silver in here somewhere, don't I? Here we go. So, a variety of findings so that I can finish that off. Alright. And that's about to collapse and make a little noise. So, first step, because the pendant only has a hole going front to back, I'm going to make a loop so that I have a easier time attaching it to a necklace. Because otherwise it will not go as easily. And because this has a flat part to help catch, I'm making sure that that goes on the back side where it will not be visible. And then I'm going to finish off this loop, tighten this up a little bit. Clearly, I am out of practice. Unfortunately, a significant portion of what I had been working on in recent years, I had to do in between taking care. I shouldn't say unfortunately. I was taking care of in between taking care of my father as his caregiver. So most of what I ended up doing was in little fits and spurts. Oops. I got a little too close to the pendant and I chipped a little bit. That is okay. It is something that unfortunately happens sometimes. You are not being careful enough. But to err is to be human. So I'm just working the wire around to have multiple rounds on each other. Since this one's just for me, I can be a little less precise. But I'm making sure that the point of the wire is going down so that it doesn't poke me. Alright. Next step is to get the wire that will be holding the rest of it together, because I'm kind of putting it all together as one armature, and then on the ends is where I will connect the wire to the chain. And so for that, I have this heavier duty stainless steel wire. Let me start by getting you in there. And you can tell where I've had projects that were, if these are the smaller ones, I need the bigger ones for that first one. So that they don't just immediately go inside of that. I might need to trade this one out for a different one. I apparently need to use my thinner diameter of wire, which unfortunately is not going to be as strong. I have an extra piece piece is pretty much everywhere at the moment because I'm still sorting everything, getting things put away. So if you have a piece that's particularly kind of like gnarled on the end like that, I find it's best to just sacrifice that little piece for the sake of the whole. You know, this bead just might not have the hole go all the way through properly. Oh, it does. There we go. Just took a little extra finesse. Eventually I will have an extra camera to be able to do top downs, but today is not that day. I forgot the spacer. So the spacers are important because the natural stone rubbing right on the natural stone has a tendency to crack and damage. Particularly when the stones are of two different hardnesses like this, where the seraphinite is a softer stone than I believe it's some form of granite, but I might be wrong. Because I got these, the teardrop shaped ones, out of a discount bin. Because that is how I have ended up getting most of my beads, my natural stone beads throughout the years. Oh, you went the wrong way. You need to go round the other way. As you can probably tell, sometimes you need to use the pliers just to have enough of a grip to move the stones properly up and down. So if you do what I just did and push too hard and make that, use your flat pliers and you can flatten them back out. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. So, at this point, we are now up to this. So I need to figure out how much chain I actually need. Because I'm going to need to cut this into 2 pieces. And eventually I will go back and I will file that point down so that it's not gonna stab me. Okay. So holding you up with this, let's see. I'm going to hang about like that. Spacer in, and again, you could be much more precise than I'm being, or you can be just kind of a chaos gremlin like myself. I've actually made this big enough that I won't need the lobster claws. We will find out. And again, I'm going to make another loop here. Actually, I think I did make it big enough. Yeah, it did. So I don't even need to worry about lobster claws. But there we have it. So now that the physical construction is done, which I think I'll have ended up doing a speed time lapse by the time, because of how long that took. But there is the first part of making it. Next is just getting acquainted. And so how I typically do that is I will put on the piece of jewelry. I will place my hands over it, holding it close, and then I will speak my intention for this creation. In this case, it would be that it be a guide and a protector. I will typically be a bit more in-depth than that, but I don't want to put everything on YouTube of this. But it's be specific in what your intention is with your creation, with your board, with your charm. Some people have much more elaborate rituals than I do. I am much more of a practical do it and get it over with kind of person. So, until next time, walk in the light, my friends.